Sampras on the serve. If you could just tell someone to stay sideways and hit up on their serve. Look how much he turns his back to the net, left arm's parallel to the baseline, palm is down, that toss is arced forward. Great body rotation. Now watch the power line. Look where he is at the impact point. He's sideways. Okay, he's definitely sideways. He's not facing forward. What you want to do is keep your eyes up at the hit. You're going to swing as a right-hander. You're going to swing away from your target, swinging from left to right. That's one of the most difficult things for tennis players to conceptualize. That's why so many players have palm up and they swing straight ahead. Okay, let's look at that again. He comes up on his heel, weight is back, but he eventually comes on the front toe, turns that left knee in. As the left knee turns in, really turns in the left hip. You can see it all. The racket goes way away from his body. And he swings left to right. That's why he was so great on the serve. Let's look at the serve. No need to identify the player. Player at the U.S. Open with a palm-up serve. So you don't want to have the awe factor of all the players who play on the tour. A lot of players get there because they're great warriors or great athletes. But when the palm is up, then the body ends up facing forward. So then the serve becomes a liability, not an asset. Then the serve is going to be a minus. That's why she has to face forward. So again on the serve. And she could change this, but it would take a lot of work. It's pretty interesting that the top players can actually change easily. I've always found that beginners and top players can change their strokes. It's the ones that are in between. It just comes down to motivation. Beginners can change because they're beginners. But the advanced players, if someone shows them and they trust it, and they really, really want to get better, they can change. It just comes down to ambition. The number one skill, the ability to focus. If someone can focus, that means they can just be diligent and just keep working and working and working. Sharapova, great focus. Works so hard. But you can see how the racket's up high. Just trying to point out the similarities. Unit turn, great step out. Racket tracks out towards the target. Racket comes up over the shoulder. Now she's shuffling back. On some shots, you certainly would want to use a crossover step so you don't have to take as many steps. But footwork is never exact. She lifts up. You do want to lift up. You're going to stay in contact with the ground, and it's your uncoiling. You don't force the jump. It's the uncoiling from the ground up. And the top players, because of that, very often are airborne. Good split step, good unit turn. Lets the racket track way out to the target. No wrist play. Sharapova, Wimbledon, U.S. Open, Australian Open champion. Watch, hand to hand on the finish. Keep in mind what changes from one level play to the next. I said that probably 100 times during this course is the speed of the ball. So it's not a matter of hitting, holding, checking out their follow through like we do in training. But look at that. Step out, hand to hand. It's all there. I'm always asking tennis players, when we show them slow motion, the pros, do you get it? Do you get it? The pros cannot violate physical laws. They cannot defy physics. Racket face closed, big step out, hand-to-hand on the finish. Sharapova on the serve. Tosses the ball way, way in front. Watch how far her front foot goes into the court. She could keep that left arm up a little bit longer, stay a little more sideways. But again, so many positives. Let's watch it again, a second serve. Actually, the next serve we'll watch is the second serve. The players will bring the toss in slightly to the left and they increase the upward angle. But there's so many similarities between the first serve and second serve. Sharapova is someone to watch as far as rituals. She really has great rituals. The movement she makes prior to serving, prior to returning, even in between points, in between games. Every pro has their own individual differences, but the racket comes to the palm down position. She swings really staying sideways in comparison to most players. Now you can see on the second serve she didn't go in as far, which you shouldn't go in as far because the body, it's uncanny how the body matches the racket. Because you're swinging in more of a vertical upward motion, the body will not go in as far on the second serve. Safin on the backhand. You see where he initially sets the racket low, has to reset it slightly. A reset means he takes the racket low twice. He simply resets the swing. Okay, another backhand. So he brings the racket back up. But there's no risk. The tip of the racket's pointed to the left. You won't see many great players on the backhand side as a right-hander where the tip of the racket pulls to the right. He's not releasing his swing from his wrist. Tanera, Murat's sister. Both hands on the racket, turns the racket head up high. Great forehand, but like a lot of players, they actually have a little bit too much play at the end. So then what happens is they're penalized against a ball that comes in soft, short, a combination of soft and short. In other words, they'll make the unforced error off the easy ball. Great step out. But overall, great forehand. But if I was working with her, I'd tell her, follow through higher. Feel like it's your follow through going as high as possible. But it's basics. It's right there. It's not an extreme grip. Way out in front. Now she does a great job transitioning off of that ball and being able to hit it and run forward. So she did not have lateral recovery. That center of gravity where you can push her and she's just going to run right to the net strap. Straight ahead.